Hello, everybody. Luis with Let's Do This once again, recapping my day trades. Today, I actually took three different trades, as you can see. Um, Let me go back here. $54 profit total for the day. 129 on SPY, $75 loss on SPX. Technically, I broke my rule on SPX. I'll talk more about in details about that. Um, but I managed to come out on top, and that makes a sixth green day in a row. So this account that started at $330 is now at $505, and I believe that puts me just over 50% of the account value that I had basically 6 days ago. So um, very happy about that. Very happy with the consistency. So let's talk about the trades now. All right, so I started in the morning. Today was a much lighter day at work, so I was able to spend a little more time here and focus on what was happening in the market. 1016 was my first trade. Got one contract, 388 puts at 125. Let me switch to this other screen here so you can see my fills. So I got filled at 125, and then I sold it at where is it? This is actually backwards. There we go. 1021, 388 for 151. So that was about $26 profit. That was my first trade of the day. And let's see, kind of put this in here, 1021, 1016 to 1021. There we go. And as you can see, the market's still open. So 5-minute chart, 1026 is around this candle here. 1016, this doji. So let me just flip to the 1 minute. Zoom in a little bit more. There we go. So 1016 here. This is a candle that I entered, and I was pretty much immediately green on it. About the 388 puts, so pretty close to the money. Then it sort of came back, retested VWAP. I held down for a little bit, but not too much. And then finally started dropping, rejecting VWAP. 1021. I got it on this candle. This white line is actually my weekly trend line. It shows over here, but if I change this to a weekly chart, that's what that white line is. It's just that since I'm in the smaller time frame, it kind of looks horizontal, but it's not really. So yeah, as it started reaching, I mean, I wasn't looking at this white line as a level of support or resistance. I knew what that was just by looking at the color because I've had that line forever. But again, it's just a quick trade. I needed to also work, right? I didn't have any meetings coming up. Or actually, I did have one coming up at 10:30, so I had to make sure I was out before then. I left a little bit on the table, but no big deal. You can't catch a perfect move anyway. So hey, I was happy with my $26. Went back to work. Had a couple of meetings. Then this happened. So I come back. Let me put this on the 15-minute perspective. I came back to my trading station here to see around this time. And I was like, okay, is it time to short here? one of my things, and even though today hasn't really been a range date, um, it's kind of started off at like a range and then obviously sold off. But I had my pre-market levels, pre-market high, pre-market low, low of day. This is, I believe, the next daily low or high of another candle, in the daily chart. And then I have this weekly level, which is pretty much almost exactly to the penny with the pre-market high. So it's retesting, right, at these levels here. It broke the high of the day, which was kind of near the open. And that's basically the first 30-minute candle range right there. It got here, tested, pulled back, sat there, consolidated in a sort of a bull flag in the context of these few candles, and then broke out of it. Great. Now it's reaching this level. It's definitely extended. Um, and I actually thought to myself, is this the time to short, or is this possibly gonna just kind of go through some more because of such a drop yesterday, and maybe people are thinking buy the dip, right? I hesitated, but and this is where my mistake came with SPX. I pulled up SPX and I saw the 3870 put. And I pulled up, I was watching SPY, the chart, but I pulled up the options chain for SPX. The 3870 puts were trading at around 150. Then this started happening. Obviously, I wasn't going to chase. It was already, at this point, right here, they had already more than doubled. Like, son of a bitch. All right, whatever. So I kept waiting. Then this happened. Around here, they were like $8 to $9. Ridiculous. Then the pullback to VWAP and then the rejection. Down here, those SPS puts were like $22. I mean, in other words, had I bought one contract and held this entire move, which I most likely would not have, but I probably would have been happy with just a double right here. But, just to show you the power of SPX in terms of how fast their contracts move, one contract at 150 would have given you $2,000 down here. So that's pretty sweet. In any case, this is where the emotions came in, and I'm like, oh, I missed it. I was here. I thought about it. I should have pulled the trigger again, just like the other day. I should have taken it with the risk of this is, if it breaks out of the high, right, then cut it. But no, I just kind of watched it, kept flipping back and forth from my work, and I was pissed. So when this bounce happened here, it actually, and oh, never mind. At this point, so I missed this move here. This bounce started happening, and this is where I decided to actually enter SPX. But I'm thinking, okay, now it's bouncing off of a key level, which is pre-market lows. And as you can see, it's sort of within the context of the intraday. It's sort of a key level there. And I figure, hey, this is the EMAs are gonna cross over VWAP. It's gonna move. So I enter for some calls here, and this is where I bought SPX calls for 95 cents. Let's see, SPS 39.50. Bought a call, 95 cents, and then that was a 12.37. Closed it almost an hour later at 20 cents. At that point, I pretty much, I kind of had given up on it. It had already made all this drop down, and that's why I had this trend line here. I'm thinking, okay, if it drops, this is on a 5-minute trend line. If it drops out of that trend line, then, I should cut it. Made the mistake of not cutting it. Again, I let my emotions do the trading as opposed to the technical. So that was my mistake. And I just gotta make sure I note that in my log and keep that in mind. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Had to take a quick pause as my kids were coming home from school, so I had to get out there and wait for the bus. But I'm back. Anyways, I believe I was talking about the SPX trade where I didn't cut it, didn't follow my rules. Number one of my rules is forget about SPX, especially right now. But again, it's not that I don't want to trade it ever. I do. I just want to make sure that I grow the account first before I trade it. So that way I can put in a risk, such as I did, right? I mean, I put in $95 into the trade. It was just one contract. I was hoping for this push to VWAP to continue as the EMAs looked like it was going to cross over. It didn't. Got rejected. I should have technically cut it here as I have my trend line. Nope. I just held thinking, okay, look, it's going to push again. Nope, it didn't. Broke the trend line. Get out of it. I mean, at the very least, at the lows of this, but I let my emotions drive that that uh, that trade. It wasn't a bad idea, right? Because many times you see the crossovers, and those are powerful moves. Um, what was a bad idea was number one, I was already emotionally affected by the fact that I missed this move, and saw how the premiums went crazy. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna get the same move now on the bounce, right? And boom, I'm gonna bank, right? And I shouldn't have. So number two, of course, like I said, I should really be staying away from SPX. Number three, I should have cut it when I should have. Again, still being emotional about it, I just let it go. So at some point down here, it was almost an hour later. So yeah, 1:30, 1:35. I was actually in a work meeting, and I kept watching it on my phone. I was like, there was about 20 cents worth. So I figured, you know what? I'm not gonna let it expire to zero. I might as well, this is a small account, so I need to salvage whatever I can. So I'm just gonna sell it, save my $20, right? All right, I did. Then had a few more meetings. Came back to find SPY forming this W here, which is a pretty strong um, reversal type pattern. And this time I didn't think about it too much. I just went for it. Um, Again, let me change it into the 1 minute chart here. Nice W pattern. And I got it at 248, sold it a minute later. And this was a very sweet trade. 246, I'm sorry. So sold it about 2 to 3 minutes later. 246, believe it was around here. Yep, there we go, 246. So this green candle, as soon as I saw that this one held, I just had this, I guess you want to say I had this conviction, right? That this had this strength to break above this key level here, break the gray line that you barely see there is the original low of day, or when for the first 30-minute range, which got rejected here on this candle, right? So this is also a 30-minute top. As it was reaching this level, I entered here. I was up nicely. I got the I think it was pretty close to the money, 387. 387 call. And, so it was, when I entered, it was right below 387. So I was in the money. Nice push. I sold the first one here. I sold one. I figured, okay, well, I bought two, so I'm going to sell one to secure some profit, right? So I sold that first one for 131, which was about 42% profit. Then held the other one, and the other one, when it pushed here and it got to this pre-market low, boom, I hit it, sold it for 156, which was about 70% profit. So that was a really nice trade. I was very happy about that because that trade brought me back into the green for the day. And if I go back here and split this, my trade for the morning was $26, and that other trade, the final trade, was $103. So I was very happy with the way I executed that trade. And yeah, so now $54. It's actually been my best day in terms of profit since I started. Could have been better had I not been so stupid about this $75 loss with SPX. But number one, mistakes are bound to happen. Number two, losses are bound to happen in trading. But that puts me at, let's see, 9 trades total, with only 1 loss. So eight winning trades, 1 red trade. That happens to be this one. So very happy about that. Win ratio, it's about 88%. So can't complain about that. And most importantly, I'm green. My account is growing, now over 50%. So hey man, let's get it. Still following within my plan. Gotta watch out for the SPX and not get too greedy. And yeah, just keep in mind that I gotta follow my rules. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, drop a line below. Have a good weekend.